What's up, folks? Welcome back to another Patreon request video. This goes out to Sebastian Hanoi. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Music from Guilty Gear Strive. I'm very excited for this because Naoki Hashimoto on vocals, compositional elements by Daisuke Furutani. You know it's going to be good. This is Goldlewis theme, The Kiss of Death. I'm obviously excited. Let's go. Yeah, that's fuzzy. I like it. Oh, backside of the beat is nice. Oh, cool hi-hat stuff going on there versus cymbals. We'll go back in a bit. We got it again. Cool.
It's not a big deal.
Wide open.
We can handle it. I don't have to think about
And there you go.
what we need to do is clear. Don't you think?
What a sound, man.
I don't need to know.
Oh, nice vocal phrasing right there.
Now it's your turn. Cat got your time. I'm for
Oh, cool.
Bark and bark. It's a encounters. The only regret that no one knows. Bark and bark. God, that's the last sound you ever hear. The kiss of death.
And there it is. The Kiss of Death. Man, let's go back and talk about this whole... That was a minute 40. We let it go forever. That's really cool. What an identifiable sound, though. Like, immediately... Well, not immediately. You hear this, you're like, okay, maybe this is some late 90s stuff, but as soon as Naoki's vocals come in, you're like, oh, this is Guilty Gear music. Because these musicians have such a bond that creates such... you can identify immediately. I think that is a great thing to have. Okay, the beginning, this big, open, fuzzy synth sound. I love this. Push. Pull. Because it really establishes you can really grasp onto the triplet underline the rudiment of that groove. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1. Now the other part that's really cool. There's two things that come in when the guitar drops into this groove. I love the little how we're on the back. We'll talk about the backside in a second. We're on the backside of the beat with the way the guitar is playing against the kick drum, but it's the use of the cymbals and the hi-hat because we get this little syncopation that happens. One more time, and we'll talk about it when it hits, though. Establishment of the groove. Drums sound amazing, by the way. Right here. Oh, man. We're just on the backside. We talked about, I think maybe in Guilty Gear videos before, I'm not sure. At least we've talked about it in the channel. There's three main places you can play. You can play directly on the beat, obviously. You can play a little bit in front of it, not rushing, just a little bit of anticipation, or you can play on the back seat, not dragging, but just dragging your feet a tiny bit to kind of give it just a little bit of molasses in the sound. If that, you just thicken it up a little bit. Obviously, the kick drum there is perfectly in time, but it's the way the little palm mutes on the guitar part that just kind of go against the kick drum. It just pulls back a little bit. Hear that? It's beautiful. But that's cool. You just get the straight eighth note. If you're thinking this is quarter note and you're thinking eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we get the hi-hat on the backside of all those beats. That gets a little bit of a syncopation against the the groupings of three, because if you really think about it, everything's just a ratio, right? Triplets are just 3 to 1. Straight eighth notes are just 2 to 1. The quarter note obviously is 1 to 1 because that's where the tempo is. Generally speaking, as long as your meter is not like some mix like 5/8, 7/8, 11/8, 15, 16. Generally speaking, if you're in like 4/4, 2/4, 6/8, 12/8, it's all very divisible to the quarter note, and that happens to be the tempo most of the time. In this case, it is. So if you're thinking 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, those are obviously triplet subdivisions there. and straight eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so this is not some crazy like monumental like rhythm, like we're not doing something like, you know, out of this world here, but it works so well. It's super, super effective. So just the little placement of those backside, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the hi-hat, it just, you know, it's a nice little syncopation against the guitar line. Let's listen to it again. It's gonna come back again. Here it is. It's nothing huge, but it's nice though. I like the little nerdy details. Now, the other thing that's obviously there that we didn't really talk about it, but it's kind of like implied at this point. It's the tone of the guitar, it's the way it's used, how the palm muting's happening, just everything with how they interacts with the drummer. You really get just that Guilty Gear sound, which, you know, encapsulates like a lot of it for me because, you know, I grew up Seattle in the late 90s. Come on, man. Like the whole friend group was listening to, you know, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, everything like that was just like a daily part of life. Not saying that, you know, anytime you hear that, you know, people do things. You identify something that's close to you, so it kind of becomes in that court. And I feel like I've talked about that in every single Guilty Gear video, and I probably always will, just because it does that for me. But it can't not be that way just because I grew up with it. You know, like that's just what it is. But for me, it's an important part of what makes these songs cool. So I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. That's a cool fill.
It's not a big
And suddenly,
deal. We can handle it.
and then we drop into it. Listen how open. We have so much space here. You came out of that and suddenly, boom, boom, boom. Big thwappy bass and kick drum. It's just wide open for you to dig into, man. It's really nice little characteristic.
We can handle it.
Low end chest voice, kind of breathy, and then we're gonna drop right into the tonal. It's like almost a pre-chorus verse. Whatever. Form. Who cares about forms? We're just like, because you know it's gonna change. Every Guilty Gear piece we've listened to, you get your groove, you get your establishment. And there's like theme and development within that, but then it completely goes somewhere else. I'm assuming this one will do that. It might not. Even if it doesn't, I don't care because the groove, the rudiments of everything that we have so far is very enjoyable. But it's probably going to change.
I don't have to think about it.
Listen to that, man.
What we need to do is clear.
Now, the phrasing that's coming up, though.
I don't know any other
This one, right?
and I don't need to know.
Yeah, man. Everything else is like. Not really that, but it's all fitting in the pocket. And also, when we get the lyric and don't need to know, it's like like completely over the bar line, massively different rhythm delivery. That's the stuff. That is the stuff I love musicians for, man. You give us the groove, we establish it, and then suddenly we get this line that is completely unrelated to how everything else was delivered, and it gives it that awesome characteristic.
I don't know any other answer than
It's coming up.
and I don't need to know.
Yeah, man.
Now it's your turn. Cat got your time.
Little head voice there.
Four.
This thing's cool. Yeah, man. Little things, man. Little ingredients. Because we get this similar bump, bump, bump. We got some head voice there, a little bit of falsetto, but then we get this cool ba-dun, da-dun, dee-dee, this thing that's going to descend down. And, you know, it's the small little things, man.
I'm four. It's a vacant dirt. You're regret that no one knows.
Oh, I didn't check. I didn't catch those harmonies underneath. It could be just the effects with it too. I'm not sure, but I did not catch that in the first listen. Listen to the like middle range voice there. That's scary. Cool. God, the drum sounds nice.
The kiss of death.
Delivery on that, no downbeat, tasty, man. There's the offbeat stuff again.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh yeah, man.
You thought this through.
Augmentations in the guitar line, a little more aggressive voice.
What about you? When I'm older, I do anything. I want to keep
Nice phrasing development there. Oh yeah, both those lines, awesome.
Now it's your turn. Could got your time. For
Ooh. Yeah, so lots of little augmentations and like ingredients that were not there. We get similar phrasings right there. Again, the wide open spot. We got the bass player was doing different stuff. The guitar player is doing different things. Previously, we had vocal lines being delivered differently and that were a lot more aggressive too. So all in all, we have similar themes. Now, I'm still going to put money on, well, not money, but like I'm assuming we're going to get some element that is completely unrelated. Hopefully. If not, then I'll eat my words. But it doesn't matter because even within we're 2 minutes and 34 seconds in, we're still getting this development within the groove that's being given to us. And you have to respect it, man, because the reason I talk about these things so much is because of how bullshit cookie cutter, like the majority of music that you flip on the radio, like, well, the radio is not like the main access point anymore, but I'll use that term, because it used to be, right? Like that was like where mainstream stuff was, popular music was, displayed in masses because we didn't have any online stuff. You couldn't access. You had to like adventure on your own, go other places and buy music. The point being, the majority of stuff that still follows cookie cutter recipes for how it's created and written, we don't get cool stuff, man. We just get like, oh, cool verse. Oh, cool. The next verse was the same. Wow. The beat literally like, go listen to the majority of stuff that's on, that people regard, like has high regard, like the top 25. And be like, just listen to the instrumental track and be like, cool. It's the same fucking 4 bars the whole time. Wow, there's the bridge. Wow, like imagine the session players. Like, I mean, they probably don't give a shit. They're getting paid, or if it's all created digitally. But it's like, yeah, well, you don't really have to do much here. Like, just rinse and repeat. Yeah, and just copy paste that. Yeah, there you go. And you're done. You call it a hit. Like it is what it is. I'm like just way too critical for that kind of stuff though, because I'm like, man, like give me something. Just the littlest things like this. You just add in little varieties. It makes it that much more interesting. Okay, rant over. Let's go back a couple seconds. Keep going here.
got your time. For and a bar is the encounters. Only with that.
There's that underlying harmony again. Awesome.
And a bar keep going. That's the last sound you ever hear. The kiss of death.
I knew it. Hell yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. Vocal suggesting the first section though. Wow. Oh my God, dude. What a little metric shift there. You got to love that stuff. I'm very glad. I was worried. I was like, fuck, please have something because we just talked about it. That's cool. So you almost get like a rockabilly, which is funny because it's still obviously ingrained in threes, however you want to, count that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just really thinking just groups of 3 the entire way. But the vocals still come in with that's still where their placement is over that. But it works though, like metrically, because everything's still divisible. Like even though it's still groups of 3s, it's gonna fit within the meter of 4 beats though. So it's gonna work. Was this 255? Is this enough back? Let's see. No, it's not. We want to grab the transition again because the transition is the fun part here.
Keep going, that's the last sound you ever hear. The kiss of death.
So there's something really tasty. Once you get into the groove is the groove, right? Like musicians have, we all have the ability. Well, you should. I mean, if you don't, you gotta be shedding your stuff up. But we need to be able to play all styles. Like, and you need, generally the main requirements to be a gigging musician, you need to be able to play in time, meaning, understand how to play at different tempos and not rush or drag. And there's a lot of them because there's a lot of different demands between all genres of music. You generally need to improvise within most genres of music. You can be like, you might have a favorite musician that play, like, you got your favorite country guitarist, like, here's the thing, that person can generally play all styles of music. They just happen to be, really great at country or whatever it's going to be. Most musicians have a skill set. Their proficiencies are much larger than what you know them for, because that's just how the world of music works. So playing in time, being able to improvise. If you're a session player, you generally need to be able to read too. And depending on the type of gigs you want, like, you don't need to be able to read music to be a successful musician by any means. People like, the only people that say that are like pretentious folks that have certain stuff. We won't get into that. It's helpful though. Like learning, I mean, I'm part of the read camp. Like I for sure like gigs where you're reading and stuff, but you don't need to be able to read at all. However, it doesn't hurt you by any means because, and I don't just mean like reading chord changes, like, like actual charts, arrangements and stuff. Like it helps for whatever, if the gig is going to be that way. And yeah, man, like it's just, those are like the main ingredients of where you need to be. And we could get into personality traits, but that doesn't really matter on here. The part that's cool here is that the only reason I even brought that up is because once they get into the groove, it's cool. But what's fun is how they fill into the groove. The drummer plays a nice little like tasty, like this is cool how we're bringing this in. Just playing the groove is one thing, but being able to play through transitions and make it musical and work with everybody, that's the other stuff. That's why we geek out and just get all nerdy about why this sounds the way it does and why it's so cool, because you need to appreciate the elements that we're getting that most people probably just don't think about. You're not like, oh, that was a really cool fill, or like, oh, that was a tasty way to bring us in between these transitions. That's not really, you don't really need to do that as part of the listening experience, but that's why this YouTube channel exists, because those are the things we talk about, and hopefully we elevate everybody's passive listening into a little bit more of an active listening experience. So then you can start to appreciate musicians more and kind of compare and contrast, and like, well, who does what? Like what kind of session work do they do here to get this to happen? Like, how does that sound? Like, is it bland? Like, is there like a little bit more ingredients going on? Like that, for me, that's the whole reason we're doing this kind of stuff. And so what I can say with that is this transition is pretty fun, and I like the way the fill happens because it gets kind of spacious for a moment, almost ambiguous, like where's time? And then it comes back in and we're locked in. Like, trust me, it's harder than it sounds to make it feel that effortless.
The kiss of death.
You know what I'm saying though? Cool. And obviously our guitar feature now. Do-ga-da, 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 do-ga-da. But the vocal line is very suggestive of the rhythm style that we had from the previous part before. It's going doom da ga doom ga da, so it's cool how those are kind of married together. He's making a bark, dude. And then we come back. And I'm sure you've noticed. To go to. It's just a double time. So that's all that really happened. We didn't go to some crazy like metric modulation. We just played twice as fast over the same chunk, and that's why that all lines up really well. Still really fun to listen to, and I'm glad that it was there. Obviously thinking it up with the kick drum there. Oh, cool bass line. Oh, that was nice, man. I'm so glad we did that. That was a lot of fun. The end, though, you get a little variant on where the bass line was going in the chord progression, and that kind of descended down there. So anyway, I know we kind of geeked out on that one, talked about some nerdy stuff, and maybe we went on a little bit too long about what it is to be a musician. And I don't know, though. That's what it's about. That's why we're here, though, just talking about those little elements. So hopefully you take it away and like you just maybe you get a little more critical with how you listen to people. And being critical is good. I don't mean being negative, just being, it's like what you put in your ears is important, man. Anyway, let me know what you think about the piece down in the comments below. My name is DrumRollTony. Catch me when I'm live on Twitch. You can find a link for my socials down in the video description below. Please and thank you. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can catch the next video. Have a great day. YouTube thinks you want to watch one of these two videos next. Take it easy. Bye-bye.